What if I told you that China didn't just copy Ferrari? They hired Ferrari's own designer to do it. Think about that for a second. Not a designer who admired Ferrari from afar. Not someone who studied their cars in a museum. Someone who sat inside Ferrari's own studios, who worked alongside Ferrari's own engineers, who put his hands on clay models of some of the most legendary machines ever built. The LaFerrari, the FXXK, the Portofino. This man knew Ferrari's secrets. He knew their proportions, their philosophy, their obsession with beauty and aggression. And then China called, and he picked up the phone. The result is the Luxeed RX, a fully electric Chinese SUV that looks so much like a Ferrari Purosangue that Ferrari itself could not stay silent. They went public. They demanded answers. They wanted a name. And what followed was one of the most explosive controversies the automotive world has seen in years. A Chinese brand, a Ferrari veteran, a deleted social media post, and a car that is shaking the foundations of everything the luxury automotive industry thought it had protected. This is the full story of the Luxeed RX. And by the end of this video, you are going to question whether Ferrari should be worried or terrified. Subscribe and hit the bell. New videos every single day. Now let's get into it. To understand why this story matters, you need to understand who Werner Gruber is. He is not a name that most car enthusiasts would recognize immediately. He is not the kind of designer who gives interviews on television or walks red carpets at motor shows. He is the kind of designer who does the work, the real work. The kind that ends up on the road as a finished car that makes people stop and stare. Gruber began his career at Pininfarina, the legendary Italian design house that has shaped some of the most beautiful automobiles in history. If you know anything about car design, you know what Pininfarina means. It means elegance. It means proportion. It means an almost surgical understanding of how light interacts with a surface. That was the foundation Gruber built his career on. From Pininfarina, he moved to Ferrari, and at Ferrari, he did not make coffee and sit in the back of the room. He contributed directly to the exterior design of some of the most important cars Ferrari has ever produced, the LaFerrari, Ferrari's hybrid hypercar. Their answer to the question of what happens when you combine a Formula One powertrain with a road car, the FXXK, the track-only evolution of the LaFerrari, one of the most extreme machines ever built, and the Portofino, Ferrari's Grand Tourer, the car designed for long journeys at impossible speeds. These are not small footnotes in automotive history. These are icons, and Werner Gruber helped shape every single one of them. After Ferrari, he became vice president of design at Saleen, the American performance car manufacturer. His credentials were impeccable. His eye for design was proven at the highest level. And then Luxeed came calling, and everything that followed changed the conversation about Chinese car design forever. When Luxeed announced the RX, their executive Zhao Changjiang went on Weibo, China's biggest social media platform, and made a bold claim. Luxeed had hired, in his words, a former Ferrari chief designer, not a senior designer, not a veteran exterior designer. The chief designer. That is an enormous claim, because the chief designer of Ferrari is not just any creative director. It is one of the most prestigious positions in the entire automotive world. The man who currently holds that title at Ferrari is Flavio Manzoni, one of the most respected figures in car design. Responsible for shaping Ferrari's entire visual identity for over a decade, Manzoni was not leaving Ferrari. Manzoni had not left Ferrari. Everyone in the industry knew this, and Ferrari knew it too. What happened next was something almost unprecedented. Ferrari's own PR director in China went onto social media and publicly asked Zhao Changjiang to name the former chief designer he was referring to. Not a legal letter, not a private message, a public challenge. Ferrari, one of the most iconic and protected brands on the planet, was calling out a Chinese car company in front of the entire internet. The post from Zhao was deleted almost immediately. But in 2026, nothing disappears from the internet. Screenshots had already spread everywhere. Journalists had already picked up the story, and the automotive world was asking one question: who exactly did Luxeed hire? Weeks later, the name emerged: Werner Gruber, a real Ferrari man, a genuinely talented designer with a real and impressive Ferrari pedigree. But not the chief designer, a senior exterior designer. Luxeed had taken a genuine credential and inflated it into something bigger. Ferrari had called their bluff, and now the whole world was looking at the Luxeed RX with very different eyes. So what does the car actually look like? Because at the end of the day, the controversy means nothing if the design itself does not deliver. The Luxeed RX delivers. There is simply no other way to say it. This is a genuinely stunning machine. Luxeed markets the RX as an FUV, a fashion utility vehicle. And from the moment you see it, you understand exactly what they mean. The bonnet is long and sculpted, sweeping back from an aggressive front fascia with blacked-out intakes and sleek LED headlights that respond to voice commands and play animations. The roofline drops in a fastback curve that gives the car the silhouette of a coupe, despite its SUV proportions. The door panels flow with tension, the wide rear haunches give it an athletic stance, and the full-width taillight strip at the back ties the whole design together with a single dramatic gesture. Luxeed even offers more than 20 paint options, including a striking aurora green and a star rose pink that make the car look like nothing else on the road. And then you put it next to the Ferrari Purosangue. The proportions line up in a way that is impossible to ignore. The long bonnet, the short rear overhang, the wide hips, the low-slung profile for a vehicle of this size. The Purosangue measures 4,073 mm long. The Luxeed RX measures 5,020 mm long. The wheelbases are almost identical. Whether this was Werner Gruber bringing his Ferrari instincts to a Chinese design brief, or whether it was a deliberate strategic decision by Luxeed to position their car visually against the world's most desirable SUV. The result is the same. The Luxeed RX looks like it belongs in a Ferrari showroom, and it costs a fraction of what a Ferrari showroom charges. That is not an accident. That is a statement. Here is where the story takes its most important turn, because the Luxeed RX is not just a Ferrari lookalike. It is not a pretty shell built around outdated technology. Under that stunning exterior is some of the most advanced automotive technology available anywhere in the world right now. And this is where China does not just compete with Ferrari. This is where China pulls ahead. The Luxeed RX is a fully electric vehicle. No combustion engine, no hybrid system, pure electric power from the ground up. And the numbers it delivers are extraordinary. The entry-level version runs a single electric motor producing 371 horsepower, driving the rear wheels. Step up to the top specification and you get a dual-motor all-wheel drive system, producing a combined 585 horsepower with a top speed of 251 kilometers per hour. This is not a car that apologizes for being electric. This is a car that uses electricity as a weapon. Now let's talk about the battery. The Luxeed RX runs on Huawei's next-generation giant whale battery platform, one of the most advanced battery architectures in the automotive world right now. And on a full charge, the top specification RX covers 852 kilometers, 852 kilometers on a single charge. For context, most European luxury SUVs struggle to reach 500 kilometers. The Luxeed RX does not just beat them, it leaves them behind entirely. And then there is the LiDAR system. Most premium electric vehicles come with one LiDAR sensor. Some of the more advanced ones come with 2. The Luxeed RX comes with 4. 4 LiDAR sensors working in parallel, building a real-time 3-dimensional map of everything around the car with a level of precision that no single unit can match. Those 4 sensors feed directly into Huawei's Changkun autonomous driving system, one of the most sophisticated driver assistance platforms on the planet. Inside the cabin, Huawei's Harmony OS powers the entire cockpit. Over-the-air updates, seamless integration, voice control that genuinely works, The kind of technology that makes the infotainment systems in a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW feel like they belong to a previous generation. Ferrari charges more than the entire price of this car for optional extras. China just put all of it in the standard package. The Luxeed RX is not just a car. It is a question. And it is a question directed squarely at the luxury automotive establishment that has dominated this industry for over a century. China looked at Ferrari, one of the most protected, most revered, most untouchable brands in automotive history, and decided to learn from them. They hired someone who worked inside Ferrari's own studios. They studied Ferrari's proportions. They took that DNA and wrapped it around technology that Ferrari cannot match at any price. 4 LiDARs, 852 kilometers of range, 585 horsepower, Harmony OS, giant whale battery, all in a fully electric machine that opens for pre-orders on the 20th of August 2026. Ferrari may have won the argument on social media, but on the road, on the spec sheet, and on the price tag, the Luxeed RX is asking questions that Ferrari simply does not have easy answers to. So I want to know what you think. Did China just build a tribute to Ferrari, or a weapon against them? Drop your answer in the comments right now. I read every single one, and if you are not subscribed yet, hit that button. Because tomorrow we have another video that will make you question everything you thought you knew about the car industry. See you there.